Great.
We had Wednesday one.
No question in my mind.
We came from one of the toughest shows. I think it's especially the force.
For safety and
Got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass the ball. You better get the ball.
I just gotta say, when it comes to mortality,
Different.
For sure, and they would have thrown it off because
This guy gets off you.
Father from and then I go to bed every night. Gee, man, I promise you that. We got a
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag Jimmy Dee. I'm in the Cowboys Cabin. I'm not on vacation. This is a working trip, a business trip. So I'm up in the ATL for a couple weeks. So I'm in North Georgia this week. Then I head down to Atlanta next week, and then I'm making a road show through Georgia. It seems like so. Definitely, if you guys are new to the cave, hopefully the video quality is good. Keep us on our toes. Make sure you can hear me and see me all right.
Exactly.
But hit that subscribe, hit that like, thumbs up, man. Appreciate all the support to the channel. We're getting so close to 4,000. I'm seeing all my homies with 30,000 making these announcements. I'm jealous, but I'm happy, and they bust their ass. And I love seeing all the content creators doing an awesome job. It is better than ESPN and NFL Network and all that other garbage.
exactly. I agree.
Definitely. So how you feeling, Jimmy? I hadn't seen you in a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You know, first I got to call you out because a few weeks ago, well, you and I haven't been on together in 4 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was on with Big C's.
I did love that show.
The night before, you were on with Greg, and you said, you guys better put on a good show. You better not lose any subscribers. We gained subscribers.
Did you gain? I'll look at. I can run the analytics and show what shows gained subscribers, and maybe you did. You didn't lose any, so that's all I care about. We didn't lose any.
Exactly. So Vince, Cuts, Rick, what's up? Hey, Garland, what did?
Yeah, let me just say. So I put a tweet out. I don't ask for you guys. I don't ask for much. But my nephew came up to Tampa, watched him pitch. He pitched the gem, 7-inning shutout, 13 Ks, the crafty lefty. And he got nominated for South Florida Player of the Week. So, I mean, that's a big honor in South Florida. A lot of talent down there. So he's in there. But there's a lot of kids, man. So I need all you guys to vote. Vote often. You can vote as many times as you want. You know, it's all political bullshit. So we need all you guys to kind of come together, Cowboys Nation, and spread the word. Share it with your friends, family, enemies, strangers, whoever the hell they are. Vote's a vote. I don't care who it's from.
Exactly. You know what? Thanks for telling me. And you said that's on X right now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll do it after the show. Sounds good. Yeah, blazing left-hand speed.
He's crafty. He's hitting close to 90 now. And if he gets in the 90s, you know, he got a full ride to college. But if he gets up and, you know, gets that speed even higher, he might end up getting drafted. Man, he throws some nasty pitches, and he's one of those kids that gets stronger as the game goes on. You know, you see some of these players, and you have running backs and stuff, and they get better and better as the game goes on. He's that kind of athlete where he gets stronger as the game goes on. So definitely had a great time seeing him pitch, and all the pressure because our whole family was there because he was up in Tampa, you know, from South Florida. So he didn't disappoint. So we're proud of him. It's a good job.
Well, and that, you know, it's tougher when you got family and friends in the crowd. There's probably more pressure there than when it's just, you know, people you don't know.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
I've seen the videos online, man. He's. I mean, I know, you know, your brother puts him up all the time. He's freaking good.
Maybe we'll get man. Might go to the Mets. Might go to the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly.
He can play at a spring training field for the Rays if he wants.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So guys, it's just kind of like a funky week, right? Or funky month. Like you have March Madness, which is phenomenal. I know Jimmy doesn't watch college basketball, but what a great weekend. I felt bad for my man Kelly K9. They gave that game. They stole a game from Arkansas and then gave it right back to Florida. So, that was sad to see. I was really pulling for Texas Tech and be happy to see Kelly see his team get that championship. But it's good. It could be all number ones in the Final Four, close to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens. Actually, the Final Four is over now, right? Auburn won. So it is. I think it's almost all number one seeds in the Final Four.
Now that I do know because I read all number
Right.
one seeds. That's about all I know. I don't know the team.
I think the Planet Houston is in the Final Four. So it's Houston, right? Is it all number one guys? I think it is.
You guys, you need to tell us what's going on, or tell me what's going on here. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Count Cristo, 729.
Yeah.
Duke will win, much to my chagrin. We just rhyme it. We got some.
Oh, Duke. Yeah, Duke.
Lyrical poet.
I got Auburn. I'm pulling for Auburn. I can't pull for Florida. That's just against anything. You're a Miami Hurricane fan. You're not pulling for Florida. So
No.
I'm pulling for Auburn to see if they win. I got some friends who went there. So yeah, all number ones. Yeah. Thank you for confirming that, Jeff. I was so I thought I was right. But so it's just a funky time because baseball's kind of getting going, but baseball is one of those sports that's such a long season. It's really, it kind of gets going and basketball the same way. So it's kind of weird. Football, after all the combine and some of this stuff, then it gets all quiet until the draft. So it's just that weird point of sports.
And normally, well, it's funny because when I saw Kelly's team got knocked out, the NCAA, and I said, hey, you got to start following NHL and NBA, man. Playoffs start in a couple of weeks. But baseball, like you said, it's a long season. You never know what's going to happen. Except there's already controversy this past weekend. I mean, look, it's the Yankees, so we're going to, people hate on us. They don't like us. They're going to find any reason to talk shit about.
We're like the Cowboys, we know it.
Well, exactly. Exactly. So we scored a lot of runs. We hit a lot of home runs, scored a lot of runs, did a great job, swept the Brewers, and we took care of our business. And now all of a sudden, the torpedo bat, they're saying, oh, it's because of the bats. It's because of the bat. Well, first of all, we're sticklers for the rules. We can keep it fair and keep it straight. Those bats are well within the rules, and Major League Baseball said we're good to go. So I don't want to hear anything, especially you, SoCal, running your mouth on X and every schmuck, Dave Portnoy, all these guys. Look, we scored a lot of runs, and then the Brewers go in and get rolled again today. So maybe it's just the Brewers. I don't know, but we took care of our business. I don't want to hear nothing.
Well, the weird thing is it is legal. I checked it out. I did my due diligence and investigation. And you wonder, why did it take so long for someone to develop this? And basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but what it does, it extends that sweet spot.
Yes.
It makes an average hitter a better hitter. It makes a better hitter a power hitter. It makes a power hitter a Hall of Fame power hitter. Am I right, yes. Jimmy?
Exactly. By harnessing all the power.
I don't know if anyone caught that yet.
Come on, you guys.
In-depth Rocky fan to catch
exactly. Somebody out there's got to know what we're alluding to. Come on. We'll give you a hint. Should we give him a hint or give him a little bit to see if somebody comes up with it?
They'll figure it out.
But so anyway, yeah. I mean, so what it's doing is it's basically blown up one part of the bat. That's all it is. I mean, yeah. And look, again, if it's within the rule, I don't want to hear anything. They're not going to change the rules.
Let's talk about the rules then, because tomorrow is potentially there could be a rule change where the tush push gets banned. Now, by the letter of the law, you can't push another player, but I've seen it in NFL where the linemen push the running backs, and you have that pile and everyone's kind of going forward. So by the letter, and that's not called. So by the letter of the rules, it is illegal. But I mean, don't you think that's a little petty? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are you guys thinking of Chad? But what do you think about it, Jimmy? Being babies.
No, I mean, like you said, it's in the rules. It happens all year. They never called it. I think it's stupid. I think it should be outlawed. I mean,
you think it should be outlawed?
I think it should be outlawed. Okay. That's my opinion. We've talked before, and we say that the football is won in the trenches, and that is in the trenches. Let's be honest. But I don't know, man. I'm not a fan. That's all. I hope they outlaw it. And it's nothing against the Eagles or whatever else. But again, you weren't supposed to do it all year, and they didn't call it.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you go by the rule book, I mean, it is illegal, but they've never really called it. So that's the only part to me. It just seems like maybe it's sour grapes by Green Bay's pushing it. I think the Rams are pushing it. There were some other teams that are pushing it.
Well,
I haven't really heard the Cowboys comment one way or the other if they're for it, against it, or whatever. But
Green
Bay, it's, I don't know. Stop it.
Green Bay should worry less about that, more about what they've done nothing in the offseason. So they need to mind their own bit. But I do agree with them. I want it out one.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw another change. Is that true? Or is Rick onto something with the NFL said the teams can wear up to 4 throwback uniforms? I like the throwback uniforms. I hope they do.
Rick wants a ban too. And you know what? Right. Who cares if they want to have 4 units? What's the difference? I mean, we all know that the extra uniforms, the throwbacks, it's a money-making gig, but it's kind of cool. Hey, if they have a jersey and they want to use it and I want to buy it, that's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. What's the difference? What does the NFL care about that? You know what I'm saying?
They worry about shit that don't matter, but
that's the whole point.
I'm a fan of it. I mean, the thing with the Cowboys have been very traditional in their uniforms, so they don't really have a lot of variations. But if you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had a drastic change in their uniform. I like that. I like them when they go to the old creamsicle uniforms. The one uniform they should go back to and never have the new ones are the Miami Dolphins. I cannot stand their logo and everything about it. I think it's ridiculous.
Theirs is awful, the new one. Now the Broncos at first I didn't like, but I kind of like what they got.
I do. I like the Broncos doing it. It's a mix between the new and the old, right? It's a little mix.
Now Falcons fans are bitching that we should go back to the old school uniforms. Like
that's
been that's been everybody's been bitching about the last couple of weeks. We got other things to worry about, but you know what? Let's see. Not a fan of it. Oh, not a fan of the tush push, Andrew.
Okay.
Just forcing the lineup illegally, center and guard consistently in the neutral zone. Bugsy, that's right. Bugsy, they're hating on us, bro. I told you they're going to hate on us. Jeez.
So,
go ahead. And real quickly about the Yankees, Nestor Cortez, who I like a lot, Nasty Nestor. He signs with the Brewers in the offseason, and we welcome him back to the Bronx on Saturday the right way. 8 runs in 2 innings.
Hey, help me out because I've been traveling and not up to speed. But how have the Mets been? So did they stink, or they they stole your guys? So
it's early. It's early, like we said. Anything can happen. But they won 1-2 over the weekend. But the thing is, Soto was up in the bottom of the 9th and had a chance for the Mets to take one of the games, and let's just say didn't go well for him. So he left bases based on, game ended, and that's it. Yeah. So you know what? Of course, we goofed on him on X and all that stuff. I mean, look, it isn't sour grapes. I didn't want a 15-year contract because then you're back in A-Rod territory again. Any of these athletes, I don't care who it is. I don't want a 12, 13, 14, 15-year contract because then you're paying that on the back end. And you got some, guy who's washed up and 38, 39 years old and that. So it's not sour grapes. He got paid, and it's a business like anything else. But of course, we're going to root against them. It's the Mets. It's our crosstown rivals.
Well, and I was just curious how that was going to work out for them. One of the other interesting things, and we're jumping around, but you guys in the chat appreciate all the interaction. I mean, this is kind of what we're doing today. We're just going to figure out. So you made me think of something else. And I was reading it is, mistakes. And obviously the Browns, their ownership came out and said, they took a big swing and they missed with Deshaun Watson and that contract, and that came back to bite them. And it just leads me to what I was thinking. Bonilla is still getting paid. Is with baseball. See, we can get in the arguments of numbers with football. Football is one of those sports that generational numbers don't really always tell the story. It's like, the whole thing that started with Deion Sanders and Asante Samuel, you saw all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Baseball lives by numbers. Numbers are the most important thing. That really tells the story of a player, Hall of Fame. They're always measured up that way. And there's, and that's just kind of the way baseball's always been. So when you see these bats and you see what the Yankees are doing, they're saying, well, this could inflate a lot of the numbers, a lot of the power numbers, a lot of the average, things like that. So it could increase salaries because a lot of these guys are paid off of numbers. So if this thing goes crazy and you get all these teams jumping in on it, how inflated could the stats get, and would that then in turn throw salaries all out of whack?
Well, no, but it's true though, because but let's take a step back. You have a great point. It'll inflate salaries if this thing becomes, less of a trend and more of the normal, an everyday thing. But look at the steroid era. It did the same thing. I mean, these guys were hitting bombs, and and that drove up salaries as well. So I don't think it's any different than that, right? And then it's going to plateau, and then something else is gonna push the salaries up again. Big C's, hey, Big C's, what's up? I got to meet Big C's last Sunday at the game.
I saw you got to meet it, and he did Big C's did a great show. Definitely have to get him on when I'm around, so we can definitely talk a lot of Cowboys football.
Exactly.
But I'm going to be in Atlanta next week, and I think the Braves are in town, so I'm thinking about maybe hitting a Braves game one night because I'll have some nights free, so I might check out their.
And I'm glad Big C's pointed that out. That Judge, he's not using the torpedo bat.
No, he
was. Chaz was. So no. He's taking care of his business regardless. So I don't want to hear anything about that. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, it's just you're going to have things like this, assuming this moves. There was a guy on the Twins using one of those torpedo bats yesterday. So if this becomes the regular thing, you're right. It's going to drive salaries up again. And that's
so other teams, is that because I thought they said it's really the only Yankees right now? So are other teams players starting to go through that?
Catcher for the Twins, I think it was using one, I think yesterday. So yeah, we're not the only ones. It's just funny. All of a sudden out of nowhere, these torpedo bats come up, right? Yeah. They're making a big deal of it because we were using them. We hit a lot, and we scored a lot of runs, hit a lot of home runs this past week.
A lot of bombs.
And the one Brewers pitcher was bitching, well, it's the Yankees, so they're going to let it slide. Let what slide, bro? We worked you. You got rocked. And it's within the rules, right? We're not
Our team plays by the book, and you know it. You got any crying to do, go cry to the umpire.
Big C, Truist Park is amazing. You're gonna love it.
I went there for a Marlins Braves game. My son's a big Marlins fan. We were up here, so I've been to that stadium. The one thing I learned, I went in the heart of summer. You want the higher seats, like in that 200 level. You want to be higher up because that's in the shade. So that's one thing I did learn on those is where to sit. But yeah, it is a great stadium. Everything around it, they did a phenomenal job with that stadium. Much better than the Marlins did with theirs. And so
they can't do it mid-season, Count Cristo. I don't see that happening because again, it's within the rules. It's within the specification. Kind of like when they measured and weighed his bat, Roy Hobbs, it was well within the specifications and the rules. So
and it's the same thing like with tush push. If they can't change the rules in the middle of the year. That's the way it is.
No, exactly. It's talk about you got to place yourself correctly. Yankee Stadium's the same way. If you go to an early game and you're out in right field, you're getting beamed with sun all day long, and it's on the flip. It's on the third base side. You're getting beamed with sun, then it goes on the flip later in the game if it's a late game. So yeah, you got to time out, or you're out of here dying of the heat.
Yeah, well, that and the Rays fans are going to get a real taste. Well, they're in a minor league park, so it's only.
Dude, what are you bringing up that minor league for?
But it's going to be so hot. They're going to get it. Florida people are going to understand why you have domes in for baseball teams in the summer because it's going to be unbearable.
No, it is. What's going on? Why haven't they rebuilt? Still Tropicana Field?
Well, they're at a catch-22 right now. It's $50 million to repair it, but they were trying to get a new stadium. So would you pay $50 million to repair that dump when their contract's going to get up and they're either going to get another stadium or they're going to be out? So now St. Pete is not. They pulled their offer off the table. There's no more negotiations. They're done with them. So if the city of Tampa can't get something going, they'll be gone. I'll be honest, man. I live in Florida, and Florida shouldn't have baseball teams. They don't support them. There's too many. No. There's too many transplants from other areas. It's entrenched with New Yorkers. It's entrenched with Boston and Chicago,
Philly,
and all of that. Philly. Yeah, and you have the problem is you have all the spring training down here. So then teams, the fans, you start growing. You and I were kids. We didn't have baseball, so you became a fan of some of the teams that you saw in spring training. That was a lot of generational stuff there. So they don't show up. Florida is just not a baseball for Major League Baseball. It's great for spring training. I think people like a little taste of it, but they don't have the passion that some of these other cities have. But it goes in waves. I mean, look at the A's. Would you ever think the A's would be gone from Oakland? I mean, back in the day when we were there, I mean, it was sold out. It was packed. It was everything.
Bash Brothers, remember back in the day? Now it's funny. So that Garland that I was talking about before, I'm not taking anything away from my Yankees, but the Brewers did give up some runs today, so that could be an issue with them too. But remember, the last time I was only been to Tropicana Field twice, and the last time was with my wife. At that point, she was my girlfriend, and funds were tight, so she brought her purse and pulled the bottom out, made a trap on the bottom, and put a whole bunch of beer and little nips of liquor in there. So that she's all nervous, like, you'll be fine. This is before the X-ray machines,
before they did all that stuff,
right? Put it back on top, man, and it was great. I mean, she had to carry me out of the place, but it was like it was fun, It was
the best was if she would have got caught, Jimmy. What would you have done?
What's that?
If she would have got caught, like if they checked her thing and got caught, what would you have done right there?
I would have. Let's get out of here before they leave us for dead.
I would have said, hey, what are you doing? You try to bring this stuff. Your parents be like this.
See, it's funny we try to set up movie lines for one another. Shit. But you know what? But now Big C's brings up a good point too. You got to get people back to the games, back to going.
I think home runs would. I think that's an excellent point. People, especially the younger generation, and that they want to see. They need to see action. They need to see runs. I think it would bring excitement because you saw what the steroid era did. It brought a lot of fans back.
Yes,
and that was So I do think there's something to be said for that as well, for sure.
And Cut says he's hooking up with Kelly this weekend for the Final Four. Oh, the Final Fours in San Antonio.
The Final Fours in San Antonio. So yeah. I was hoping that I could get there, but it just scheduled didn't work. So we're going to try and do a summer Cowboys Cave roadshow. With at Cutz's bar, hang out and do some shows. And stuff.
I've been watching Cutz's pocket. They're good. Cutz's got to keep it coming. It's pretty cool. Yeah, he's got a nice setup there too.
Yeah, so you're got a great setup. It's good to see.
So you're in the Cowboys cabin.
I'm in the Cowboys cabin. So I'm here till Tuesday of next week, and then, like I said, I head down to ATL. So we got just getting a few things done, working from here, and then wife and I make the rounds at night, and it rained all day today, so she didn't do a whole lot, but I've been able to get, sometimes when you work remote, you can get caught up on a lot of things. So I was able to get a lot of stuff done. So that was always good, but going to have the show in Atlanta. So that'll be fun. But, it's just that quiet time. So I try and get all my work travel and get all this stuff before football season. That's my wife, I turned 50 in October, and my wife, wanted to plan something and say, oh, we're gonna, friends wanted to do a party and wanted to get, and she knows. And I told, she told them, she goes, he doesn't do anything during football season, no party, because if the Cowboys are playing around my birthday, I may end up going to the, obviously if it's a game I go to, I don't want to make any plans, any commitments, during football season. So now's the time where we try and get away as much as we can, where it makes sense, because football season is just focused on the Cowboys, focused on McCain's, and for both of them, and obviously you for the Falcons, but hopefully there'll be better days ahead for all our teams. I mean, except for, I know we usually get some Eagle guys on here. Hopefully they suck. I don't care about them, but hopefully some better days for our teams. And the draft is near. You're getting a lot of rumors. A lot of the rumors start coming of who to take and who not. You saw T-Mac. They got video with him. I don't know if he was half joking. Maybe you guys can help clarify it. He says he don't watch film. He doesn't watch football. So he don't watch film. If that's true, then that's a red flag, kind of to me. The Cowboys can't miss. They can't miss on their first 3 picks. They have got to get playmakers and starters and impact guys on the first 3 picks. So there's a lot of pressure for the organization and for the scouting group and for McClay and the Joneses and stuff. And Steven came out and said, we're not done dealing yet. So if they get something going, maybe that changes something, but right now is they've got to get 3 starters, and however way they do it, they better figure out how to get it done, because there's no room for error for this.
Who's
team.
your backup quarterback?
I think they're going to draft one. I've always been one. I mean, you got Will Grier, who I think Will Grier is better than Cooper Rush. I just think he just needs to play. But I mean, let's just be honest. If your starting quarterback goes down, your season's pretty much over. I mean, you're not going to win it.
Ask Trey Lance that same.
You're going to win a Super Bowl.
Ask Trey Lance and Brock Purdy that, man.
No.
I mean, it happens. You never know. Or think about Tom Brady when Drew Bledsoe went down. I mean, you never know.
No, you never know. But I mean, it's very hard. So I think they draft a quarterback. Yeah, I agree. Big C. As first round, they cannot mess this up. And so, the question that I pose to people is, a lot of things happen. Do you take a running back? Do you reach for this? I said this before. I don't want to F around, man. That first pick, you get the guy you want. And Hampton's a name that's creeping up there, right? From North Carolina, the running back. He's been going up the draft board. If you are set on, they didn't win nothing. They go to the playoffs. They win. Everyone begged if Romo was in there in that Packer game, we might have made it to the championship game. If you're set, I'm only kidding. You're set. If your eyes are set on a certain running back or receiver or whatever it is, go out and get them. Don't dick around and say, well, I mean, is the value there? Should we try and trade down? It's not, dude, go get the best guy that's on your board that you want, and don't worry about nothing else. Just don't let it be a lineman. I don't want no damn offensive lineman with the 12th pick. I'll be pissed.
No, I don't blame you. And not for nothing. But you and I have talked about it before. Let's say you need a particular, you need a player at a particular spot, but a player that you didn't expect to be there. Maybe you don't need him at that spot, but he's got, he's the best, athlete, the best football mind at that point. You might just take him.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Bijan Robinson fell into our lap a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And I talked about Mbuka. I think he is the safest receiver to draft. He may not have the biggest ceiling, like maybe T-Mac, maybe Burden, maybe their ceiling is higher, but I would agree. I think Mbuka is the most polished, the safest, most consistent guy if you're going to draft a receiver. And maybe 12 is, they're going to say, well, the 12 is too high. Well, bullshit. If he's your guy, just go get him. And if you want to trade down a little bit, but just make sure you get your guy, that's fine. Hampton is the only thing I don't know about a running back is running backs are so deep in this draft. Do you really want to, is there that much of a difference between the first running back and the fifth running back? You know what I mean? That's where I don't know.
No. As long I remember, we always said the run sets up the pass. These guys come out of college. I don't know much about college football, but a lot of these guys come out ready to go at the skill positions. And look, you guys, I think in this scenario, you got a quarterback, you got some receivers. I think you get a running back come out of college is ready to go. He'll go. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think he'll fit in well in no matter who it is. It's not gonna get 500 yards rushing for the year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you, Big C's right there. Martinez, I would take Martinez all day long. I don't know if he'll be there in the fifth. I think his stock is rising. He might be a fourth. He might even be a late third, depending. It all depends on how the running backs go. I mean, there's so many. The other dude from Virginia Tech, he's one to keep an eye on. He's fast. He tore Miami's run defense. He's not saying a whole lot. He tore us up, but he's a pretty shifty running back as well. There's a lot of running backs. That's why there's not a lot of receivers. I mean, there is definitely a drop off into that second round as far as, the cream is really at the top for the receivers to where I think the running backs they're about, I don't want to say they're 25 deep, but they're about eight deep, could be 10 deep. I mean, there's definitely some running backs. So it's,
you don't want to do this.
It's going to be interesting.
You don't want to do this. So here we go. Falcon, first round T-Mac or Graham from Michigan, or trade back to get Ibuka.
Yeah, I don't think Graham is gonna. I don't know if Graham's gonna be there. I just T-Mac. If as long as all the BS, you're gonna get those stupid rumors, but it came out of his mouth, but you don't know the context of how he was saying it. He's got the biggest ceiling. I mean, he's 6'5", he's 220. I mean, he's a big dude. So he definitely has the highest ceiling. But yeah, like I said, it's just they got to figure out. They better do their due diligence. They can't mess it up. I mean, the other thing I would say, Jimmy, and to you guys is don't fall in love with the numbers. Them in t-shirts and shorts, because it's the same thing with Restrepo. It's like, oh, Restrepo ran a 4.8. He's terrible. Da, da, da. I watched that dude play for 4 years at Miami. So no one could guard him one-on-one. I mean, he's a slot receiver, and he was always open, and he catches pretty much
right.
everything.
Exactly. You don't. The combine in of itself doesn't mean everything.
Yeah.
Rick.
I mean,
Rick,
I think Larry Fitzgerald ran a 4.7. How'd that work out for him?
Yeah, right. I heard the Cousins is waiting until after the draft. Well, it's funny. So we let March 1st go. We had to give him the $10 million because he stayed beyond March 1st. I mean, you have a backup quarterback, and that's what he is listed as right now, as the backup on the official depth chart, making astronomically more than the starter. I mean, he's got to go somewhere. Where that
There's
is,
no way
I
they're
don't
going
know.
to keep him on there, are they?
No, it doesn't make sense. But I'm still pissed that we stayed past the first and he got the $10 million out of the deal.
Yeah, why do you pay him $10 million?
Because we have. That's my whole point. I mean, we would have had to. I don't know what the ramifications would have been. We would have either had to trade him or cut him by March 1st, and we didn't. So we got an extra $10 million. I don't know. I love Terry Fontenot, but our GM. But man, this whole thing with Cousins has been a freaking disaster.
Well, I mean, that was another thing. They took a risk. It hasn't worked out. I mean, they did get Penix, and that's why you draft. You give Atlanta credit because they made moves in the offseason where they could take the best available, and they felt Penix was their best available, and they took him. And it, maybe it works out for them. Maybe
and I remember we did the draft show. It was yourself, Greg, Kelly, and me. And Greg said, "You take Penix if he's available." And a lot of people were laughing, but he was spot on. And it's just, remember Cousins, I mean, he was the darling of the Falcons in Atlanta for the first 7 weeks of the season. Then he got hurt. And after that, I mean, he hid the injury. And after that, it was just a train wreck after that. And there was a couple close games.
He knows how to make money.
Yeah, exactly. He does know how to make money.
He does. His contracts have been, I mean, just unbelievable negotiations.
He gets paid.
Yeah.
Booker, how's it going, Booker?
Yeah. What's up, man? But talking about quarterbacks, so I saw Dak Prescott got in the news. He's obviously working out. Looks like he's in the best shape of his life, Yeah. So hopefully that comes through. But if you're the Cowboys, he's now in his 30s, right? Early 30s. He's had a couple injuries over the last few years. The Cowboys, you gotta start looking at quarterback. You gotta start. I mean, they've never drafted quarterbacks late, and if there's a guy that they see, I mean, they should pull the trigger, right, and get themselves a young quarterback to start grooming, at least as a backup and as someone that can be an heir apparent if there was an injury or something were to happen with Dak.
No, I agree with you. It's a smart move, and I mean, so Big C's is saying he's not mobile anymore. And it hurts the way he plays. Oh, you're talking about Kirk Cousins. His agent did some.
I never knew he was more.
Yeah, I was going to say, but his agent did. I'm only guessing because he said his agent did some great magic, which Kirk Cousins' agent's definitely a magician. I'll tell you that.
Well, he took. Remember, he got tagged 3 years in a row, I think, at Washington, and then he signed a 3-year, like $100 million or whatever it was, 100% guarantee contract with the Vikings. I mean, he made like $300 million. I mean, he did great negotiations and risk on his part.
You got to have smarts.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. But
yeah, they said Dak is down to 205. Is he that?
205.
I don't know. That's a little light. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, for at his height, that's kind of small. You think he'd be more like 220.
Yeah.
Not 205.
Yeah, if he's 205, I mean, him and I might go toe to toe. I mean, I don't know. I know, I don't know. I don't know. I know he's a lot leaner than I am, but 205, I'd be shocked. I'd be really surprised if that's what he's coming in at. He's got a big frame. I don't know if his body could be 205. Looking a little anorexic.
Yeah. Got to take quarterback. Just think where we would have been if didn't take Dak in the 4th round in 2016.
You don't know. You don't know where that one definitely, worked out well for the Cowboys. And people forget. They think, oh, well, Dak was Romo's backup. He was the 3rd quarterback. Their backup quarterback was Kellen Moore, who ended up getting hurt too. And that opened the door for Dak Prescott. And the thing that you got to remember with Dak Prescott, he had a rookie by the name of Zeke coming in. And you want to talk about a rookie quarterback or any quarterback's best friend's a strong running game. Yes. You saw that with Ben Roethlisberger his rookie year. He had Jerome Bettis. I mean, and they were, they did great things there. A running game changes everything. That's why, again, getting back to the draft is the Cowboys cannot miss on getting an impact running back. I mean, was he 4? I thought he was 3rd. Was he even 4? I didn't think he was behind him. In preseason, he was. I didn't think he was behind him, but maybe I'm wrong. But I thought he was 3rd.
But it is. So when's the draft? Is in a couple weeks. When is that? A couple weeks from now. When's the draft?
Draft's going to be at the end of April, so it's going to be it's
right around the corner.
Yeah, and Booker with Scattaboo. I mean, what is the knock? Like, why do people dog on Scattaboo? I mean, I watched him run, man. He's a physical running back. I don't know why. I would welcome him on my team any day. I mean, he's a football player. But,
Zeke was an animal.
He was unbelievable that year.
Running game is important, but taking a running back R1 this year is a big miss, in my opinion.
Why?
Foul
round one. Oh, he said round 1. I'm sorry. I wouldn't take a running back in round 1. I mean, unless their heart is set on, I don't think Gentry will be there. I think he'll be gone. But if their heart is set on Hampton, and I mean, you say that, but look, and it's how they're going to use it. You look at what everyone dogged the Lions for taking Gibbs where they took him, and boy, has that worked out for them or what? I mean, everyone thought Gibbs was going to be, he might fall to Dallas in the 20s, and he ends up going to the Lions. It's all about what is their focus on offense, what scheme, what are they trying to do, what do they want to get accomplished. If they're really dedicated and they want to pound the rock, Hampton's a guy that could do it. I mean, I watched him do a number on Miami too. So I mean, he's a physical running back. But anyway,
yes, SoCal. You know what? I hope you enjoyed your meal. I know you were being a coward. You weren't here at the top of the hour because you were calling me on X about my Yankees. And we already talked about that. You missed it. I called you out already on here and you missed it. I hope you enjoyed your dinner.
Isn't he a Dodger fan with those bunch of cheaters?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dodger fan. Yeah, a bunch of gamblers out there. What's this? To me,
I agree.
I don't know most of these guys. I don't watch college.
No, I agree 100%. The receivers are not as deep as running back. Every mock draft I did, everything like it kind of, if you don't get your receiver in the first round, there's definitely going to be a drop off. I mean, the kid from Texas too is another guy that I wouldn't have a problem if the Cowboys took. I think Golden, if they took him in the first round, he would complement CD Lamb as well. So, and
Booker, I hope you're talking about the New York Rangers and not the Texas Rangers. Let's make sure we're all clear here.
I'm hoping to get to a Rangers game if the schedule works out. The stadium's right next to the Cowboys stadium, so I'd love to. Check
out. I love that whole area there.
Oh, I mean,
AT&T, Texas Live, what's the name of the field where the Rangers play? Whatever it is. That's a beautiful setup there. That's all sorts of stuff to do. If you guys haven't been out there, make it a point to get out there for football or baseball. Maybe come to the Cowboys Cave tailgate which will
Yes.
be we'll be announcing the date at some point in the next couple.
We're
of
going to
months.
get to a point where our tailgate, we're going to have to rent out a venue. We're going to rent a venue
Yes.
out.
That's right.
We're gonna take over. We might be a Texas Live. We might take that over. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? We should, man. That was a great time last year. So
No.
whoever didn't make it last year, if you made it last year, come back, and if you didn't, make it a point to come out because we had such a good time.
No, it did. It gets better and better. And again, I see a couple hundred of you guys in here, especially on a slow sports time. We appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. I apologize that the video quality on my end isn't the best. I'm in my cabin. I'm up in the mountains, meditating, getting everything right to get ready for this season. I got to drop the hype. I'm getting ready. I'm ready to bust through some doors. I'm ready to get this thing rolling. So I had to come here. I'm like Rocky IV, when I'm going against Drago.
Damn it. I was just going to say it. Damn it. You stole my thunder on that one. I was just going to say it. He's up top running the mountain. He's got people in the car chasing behind him. His official chaperones chasing him up in the car.
I brought my remote control car. So anyone who follows me knows for Christmas, I got me a remote control car that goes like 60 miles an hour. So I brought that here to I'm going to have some fun out here, see if I don't break it. But we're going to end up going off the end of the mountain. That would suck. But,
do you remember the time that our buddy, Fish, we were out, him and I were out, we had some remote control cars and we put some M80s on them, lit them, took off, blow them up back in the day. And, I don't know if I'm sure you won't do that with your car because it's probably a little too expensive to do that with, but got some old cars and make sure you take safety precautions. Even at 50, if I can do that tomorrow, I would do it because that was so much fun. Well, until the cops showed up, but that was a lot of fun blowing up remote control cars with M80s.
The best was we were we went on our cruise and my son, he's with us and it was my brother and his kids and all that. So we were doing like little pranks,
Yeah.
It's like I shouldn't say this on here, but what the hell? I'll tell one funny story. So we're all sitting in the spa and I just and I'm kind of sitting on the edge of it. The kids are all there and I go, hey, tell me if you can hear this. And everyone's kind of head turned like, and my son, he looks over to his, his cousin. He goes, my dad's almost 50. Like every time he did that, they would be looking at something. But hey, man, you're gonna have fun. I don't care, man.
Of course. So the best was the murmuring of the water. That was probably the best part, right?
It was like an echo.
Right. So Garland says that you're doing the Aaron Rodgers thing up there.
I am. I'm doing the Aaron Rodgers. I'm going into a dark place. I'm gonna, as soon as it's about another hour, this whole place is gonna be dark. I'm gonna shut all the lights off and get our. I got to get in the mode, man, because I hate the off season of the NFL. I hate it because it's such a long off season. And you just have these lulls, and some of the stuff like free agency kind of gets exciting, and you see a lot of movement. And then now it dies, and now you hear rumors, and you hear people trying to beat guys down like by hurting their draft stock, or guys. Now you're hearing Tyreek Hill. Now I guess he wants somebody. I don't know. Does he go? He doesn't want to go. You get all. Is Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh? Is he not going to Pittsburgh? Right. So. Now it's like to a point where I'm done with everything. I'm ready to get football started. I saw Micah Parsons playing pickleball. I'll challenge him to a pickleball match.
I'll whoop that ass in pickleball. So I see. Here's what I envision. So when you turn everything off at night, it's pitch black up in the Cowboys cabin. Remember in My Cousin Vinny when they're staying out in the woods at the district attorney's cabin and the owls and shit start shrieking at like 1 a.m. Joe Pesci comes out with the gun. Bam, 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 bam. That's what I see. I see.
It gets dark, and the crazy thing is like when you're up here, we don't come up here around this time as much. Usually and we're coming up here in the summer. All the trees, we don't have that, right? We don't have all the trees. Right. The leaves are gone, so you could see. It's amazing what you see. You're like, man, I didn't even know there was a house over there. There's a cabin over here. I can see the lake from where we're at because you can't see it because it's have all the leaves. So it's weird when you come up here and everything is bare, how much you see, there's a lot more people than you think up here.
So you can't walk around naked outside because the leaves are down, right?
No, I do it. Who cares?
Garlic. People might get very jealous. Garland Wilson, my oldest son, is turning 50 this year.
Wow.
Good for you, man.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, congrats.
Happy to have my young son on the podcast. I don't want to hear that kind of language.
It's some people like turning certain numbers, it starts to hit you. So I know you turned 50 before me, so I don't know, like Danny's having a hard time, my brother's having a hard time with it.
Well, he lost in a foot race to his son. That's why he's having
a hard time. That's been happens. You become
change.
More.
Right, exactly. Well, but it's funny because we really had nothing going on Saturday night. I was in bed by 9:30. It didn't even bother me. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 9:30, I would have found a reason to stay awake. Now, like, whatever, I go to sleep, get a little extra Z's.
Yeah.
Oh, plus we were my kid's college, like all the people got accepted to Sacred Heart. They got invited this weekend and got to do the tour and all this stuff. It was pretty cool. It was a good time.
No,
it's exciting.
That's good. And that's a cool thing. Like so my daughter had her prom and they're getting it, you're doing all this stuff. And so it's crazy. But we talk about the Cowboys and we talked about, all the different things and obviously the Dak Prescott, so you can beat all that stuff, into the ground as much as you want. But it's like I said, the mistake, they cannot make the mistake in the draft, to me, is drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. And I know people say, well, God, Mike, what are you talking about? They got Zach Martin and you got Frederick and you got Tyron Smith and what did it get you? It did they draft those guys a little bit later. That's fine. I like our offensive line. I think our offensive line is fine, but this team is starving for playmakers. And yeah, you got CD and you got Parsons, but what else, and you got Bland, but what else do you really have? You've got no playmakers at running back. You've got no playmakers opposite CD. This team they cannot F up this draft. They have got to get a playmaker. The kid from Penn State, the tight end. Tyler, was it Warren?
Booker, maybe? Is that it? What David Lawrence is saying? Is it Booker?
No, I think it's I think it's Warren. But anyway, the tight end if you want to go get a tight end, if he falls, fine. He's a playmaker. He's a phenomenal receiver. Ferguson's not a playmaker. He disappointed me.
Damn.
Now, maybe he can be, but I was disappointed. Well, yeah, Tyler, I was disappointed in him last season. I thought Schoonmaker played better. Ferguson he's focused on these Cavender girls down in Miami, distracting them. He needs to be focused back on football and getting everything back to normal. So I'm just saying the Cowboys cannot make a mistake in this draft. They cannot make a mistake in this draft in the first round. And I'd almost say the first 3 rounds. Tyler Warren. I got his name right. The first 3 rounds, I need 3 starters and I need 3 impact playmakers. They're there in this draft. If you drafted right, you can get it easily in the first 2 rounds. This draft is not so heavy on the superstars, but they're superstars and they're stars, and it's deep in this draft for that. And I think the Cowboys can get it done. I just and it's funny with us. We need a center. We lost Drew Dahlman to Chicago. We need a center. We need beef up on the defensive line. That's where we're at. Funny part is we're set at skill position. That's assuming Penix progresses. Yeah.
He played well toward the end of last season, played great, played very well, actually. But we got the skill position set. It's just we need trenches now. So we're kind of on the opposite situation you are.
Yeah. And Andrew, I haven't given up on Ferguson. I bought his damn jersey. He better be good. But I think obviously Dak getting hurt. Look, losing Dak hurt him. I get that. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy?
You guys in the 49ers got killed with injuries.
No, the injury. And I'm just saying I like our offensive line. Now, should they draft, a guy in the 3rd round, 4th round, wherever they you can get another line. Sure, I think you get that. But I like this offensive line is young, and they've got some nasty to them. And and I don't want to be the old guy, but go look at the Great Wall. I'll say it for the 1,000th time, but here's 1,001. They didn't have all first rounders on their team. What they had was nasty guys that played together, and they were cohesive, and they worked so well together, and they had each other's back. And they, you mess with one, you mess with all mentality, and that's what this Cowboys line. I see glimmers of that mentality. We'll see how it plays out this year, but they don't need a bunch of first rounders at every damn position on the line.
Now Booker says, I hate to say it, but I think the Commanders just got a lot better.
I don't know if they got a lot better because they lost people on defense. Yeah. I think their offense got better. I think Jaden Daniels, it's going to be interesting to see how he is that second year, because you see that second year affects people. I think their offensive line, they did pick up a good, really good left tackle. So they had trouble stopping the run. And just think about this: the Cowboys with Cooper Rush beat them, and the Cowboys with Trey Lance, and they were playing their starters too, had them up against the ropes. And Debo. What Debo are you getting? Are you getting the Debo 4 years ago that had 1,000 yards? Because that's the only year he ever was good. He's been hurt and has been, hot and cold every other year but one. He's living off 1 year. Go look at go back and look. He's living off 1 year. So we'll see. But he's been a Cowboys killer, so he might hurt us.
Yeah, so playmakers make the players around them better. That's true.
And Kevin Gogan backed it up about Emmitt Smith. You have these arguments. Is it the line or is it Emmett? And you had one of his linemen said it's Emmitt Smith. A running back needs a line. It's definitely a partnership, but a running back, a really solid running back, can make the line a lot better, make the quarterback's life a lot easier. Jimmy, you're a fan of you know how important the run is to the pass.
It sets up the pass offense and all that. Hey, remember the time I had an Emmitt Smith injury, just a little bit worse.
It was a little worse, but you survived.
A little worse, exactly.
So, yeah, I want, but Jimmy, I think your division is kind of they're on the downward slide, but with maybe you're happy. I want my division to be tough. I want the Giants. I don't want them to get Cam Ward, but I want the Giants to be better. I want the Wash, because it makes everyone better within that division. You're better.
Well, not for nothing. Right. If you're playing a bunch of scrubs for 8 games a year,
yeah.
When you go to the playoffs, you're going to get rolled. Because who did you beat? Half of your season was just under half your season was playing a bunch of scrubs. So look we didn't even win our damn division last year. It was pathetic.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. You don't want a garbage division.
No, the Cowboys players, they need that. They're I don't want to say, they're not a bunch of dogs, and the mentality, I don't want to say soft. That's the biggest insult you can give anyone. I don't think this team's soft, but you know what I'm saying. They need to get punched in the mouth a little bit. That way they can punch someone back.
No, they all. That's when any team, right? You can't if you're not battle tested, you ain't gonna win big games. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't care how good you are.
Isn't that crazy? The Giants haven't beat us in that long. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
That's just. How embarrassing for the Giants. And how the hell does a Giant fan talk shit to me? Thank you, Booker. I'm going to keep that one in the back of my head, because I knew it's been a long time. I didn't know it was that long. Jesus God, that's pathetic. Pathetic, Jim.
So I'm not switching gears. We're just bringing us a big C invited me the other night to NHL After Dark Saturday night. I couldn't do it. Like I said, we were at my kid's college thing all weekend, and I was in bed early Saturday night, so I just couldn't do it. But just to say, Mike Tag is going to be getting some Tampa Bay Lightning, some sort of season ticket package. So we're going to get him on board for next year. So next year,
we're going to say, I told you, I'm giving my Cowboys one more year before I commit to anything. I'm going to give them.
So you're not getting the Lightning?
Well, you have dollars of allocated. So if I didn't renew my Dallas season tickets, then I would basically use those to something. But I do go to Lightning games. I just don't. I'm not a season ticket holder. So
your boy Tortorella got canned from the Flyers the other day. Well, you know what? They were underachieving, and then he had it out with one of their defensemen, and I guess Torts lost. So, but he was low key. I wanted to hear him curse out the reporters.
I know. I did. I like hockey coaches are very passionate. They don't.
Exactly.
They're not afraid to say it. But hey, one more thing before we start to wrap it up. So NBA, I saw there was a big melee.
Yeah.
It got into the stands a little bit, and then I watched it. It was all just kind of holding each other. It wasn't like, man, when they said all these guys got kicked out and there was a big, I thought it was gonna be like the Pistons. Was it the Pistons and the Pacers? I thought it was like drop, just throwing blow. They didn't do anything. They hugged each other.
So Bugsy's right. The Yankees scored more than the Giants did all season. But you know what though? You're right. So they called it a melee and all this. And to be honest with you, I didn't see it live. So I woke up to it and I'm like, what? And I looked at it, man, this was blown out of proportion. But I'll tell you something. First of all, in the middle of the mix was Dante DiVincenzo, former Knick, who we traded for Karl Anthony Towns. And I love Dante, but he was in the middle of the melee. But apparently a fan who was down there kind of might have gotten trampled on or something. So the owner, the Bucks owner came running down, of course. I said, that fan is getting paid.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd be down. They'd be carting me away.
Nick, hurt. Yeah, I'd be out of there on an ambulance if it was me. So that dude's getting paid. Yeah, it was kind of blown out of proportion. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So
they made such a big deal about it on ESPN, like it was this huge thing. But
hey, Bugsy, yeah, man. I worry a little bit. Ovechkin, he's 4 away from tying Gretzky, and he's going to do it this season. NBA soft flop city. Yeah, you know what? I mean, it was a bench clearing incident. I wouldn't say it was a bench clearing brawl, right? A couple of the coaches were involved, though. Remember, like back in the day,
2 coaches got kicked out, right? They got kicked out too.
And there'll be some suspensions and stuff, but nothing crazy. He had to be fired the day my Habs had to beat the. Yeah, and you guys, that was a crazy game, Count Chris. Last Tuesday, I think it was. That was something. But look, at my Rangers are fighting it out against your Canadians, and you guys went down to Florida and beat them the other day. I was pissed off, and I gave Big C's and Kelly a piece of my mind. Shit. Like, really? Panthers couldn't take care of their business and help me out. Yeah, but that was, again, though. So look for a big lawsuit coming out of that one, but and a couple suspensions, but nothing crazy. I've seen better fights in baseball.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't nothing. The one fight I saw in baseball was the guy, what was his name? He got hit. The guy brushed him back. So then he bunted the next pitch, and the pitcher fielded it. He ran outside the line and just absolutely annihilated the pitcher. And then that created a huge brawl. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember who it was.
I can't remember.
Somebody help us out. Somebody help us out.
That was that was just a badass brawl right there. It was crazy.
No, I'll tell you the best. And Steven, the Stars, I'll tell you one thing about the Stars, man. You got a good goaltender. Goaltender gets hot in the playoffs. You don't know how far you can go. But remember when Nolan Ryan hit Robin Ventura? Ventura charged him out, and Nolan Ryan got him in a headlock and started beating the hell. That's the best. I wouldn't be messing with Nolan Ryan back in the day. Yeah, but baseball, remember baseball, especially back in the day, had some of the best fights.
Oh, they would. I mean, they would, and they were self-policing, almost like hockey. Like, you go after my guy.
Yes.
There's going to be, and it could be 2 months later because you guys don't play each other for a while, and they still remember it. And the guy, first pitch of the game, the guy's going to get beamed in the back or whatever they're going to do. And, but yeah, there's Nolan Ryan. Eric Davis and Ray Knight back in the day. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
That was at third base. He slid in too hard. Eric Davis slid in hard to Ray Knight.
The cleats.
So
yes.
And that was weird because Strawberry was on the team, and him and Eric Davis were like childhood friends, and so. But you got to stand up for your teammates. So yeah. So anyway, this is the Cowboys Cabin hanging. You guys make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that like. We appreciate it. I've got a jet right on an hour because my wife, I got my wife here, man. I got to stay
Sure,
married.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to stay married. And, happy wife, happy life. She gave me an hour to
Absolutely.
come hang with you guys and hang with Jimmy because we hadn't hung out in a while. So
We heard Mike Tag's a 60-minute man.
So I'm not sure about Wednesday yet. I think Kelly will do a show if I'm not available. I'm sure there'll be something, but the main thing is, guys, hit that subscribe if you're new and thumbs up. But more importantly, hit the alert because I drop videos. Kelly dropped a video one time. I mean, people will drop videos whenever. Anyone in the Cowboys family may drop a video. So I set that alert, and that way you'll never miss anything. Hit that bell. And we appreciate the love. We're on the path to 5,000, which is pretty cool. We're just some Cowboy fans just doing a show and a Falcon fan. I don't want to leave Jimmy out, but just some Cowboy fans and all of us in this family, man. We love it. We have a great time. And we're getting closer to 5,000. And I offered, 2 of my seats when we get to 5,000 do a giveaway. So we're less than 100 or 1,020 or something like that away. So it can be done. Spread the word. And I would love to give them away this year because I think the home schedule is phenomenal. Even if you're just an average fan, I mean, the Cowboys home schedule, I think every game is can't miss. So it's going to be tough for me to figure out what game to go to anyway. So
Steven, man, you're about triple me, bro. Steven also like and share. Rick, no, we appreciate you guys coming out. Rick, Count, everybody, we really appreciate it because you guys make this fun for us. Right. Yeah. So, so we're at 1. I know you got to get going. We said you and I probably won't be here next Monday, but we will the following. Does that sound right?
Yeah. I'm going to be in Atlanta Monday and all that. So the next week will be tough. But like I said, I may do some weekend show. I may do some pre-recorded stuff, if any news. But this is kind of like the dog days of Cowboys. So I don't want to put content out. I'm not a viral guy to just put some bullshit out for you guys. So if I'm dropping something, it's because I'm thinking about it. I want to share it and get your guys' opinion. So definitely appreciate it. Make sure, again, you guys hit that like, subscribe, and share. And let me update our outro and get that on there. And we appreciate it. Jimmy, thank you as always. Thank you everyone for hanging out in the cave, man. It's been awesome. We will see you. We'll see you soon. All right. Quick question, Jimmy, you there?
Yes.
Oh, who's your number 1 pick for the Falcons? Real quick.
You know what? Well, the thing is, like I said, obviously, if you're looking at the first round, we need somebody. We need an edge. We need an edge. So the best available edge. I want to draft a center. We need a center, but not first round.
And I say edge, a playmaker. A pass rusher is always a playmaker. So
exactly.
So definitely appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. You guys take care. Peace out. And I got to get the outro. Never mind. I thought I did it. 1 second. I'm here. We're here. All right, guys. We're here.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.